I bet I could sentence mixes to say cock, huh? What the fuck? Ooh, Xenonauts 2! So I might be a little familiar with the previous game, so when the folks over at Gamesplanet reached out to me with a press copy for this first impressions video, of course I jumped at the opportunity. I mean, I'm a sucker for free video games, sue me. So let's get stuck right in. Welcome to the grim alternative future of 2009. The Cold War never ended, but that's the least of your concerns. Although only spoken of in whispers, an alien incursion is no doubt ongoing. The Xenonauts, a clandestine organization dedicated to investigating aliens and protecting the Earth, are locked in their own invisible war against a group known only as the Cleaners, who work tirelessly to suppress any knowledge of the alien threat. This appears to be more of a reboot than a continuation of the first game. Races have different names, and some of their abilities are changed, but it still feels like it's connected. Somehow. This time around, we have a full tutorial mission that acts as a preface to the plot. The Xenonauts fend off an attacking force of Cleaners that assault their initial HQ. This opening gives us some fresh justification as to our need to build a new base with minimal starting facilities, and the Cleaners are an interesting addition to the game. I mean, it's clear they're meant to be this game's version of Exalt, but honestly, that's a good thing. It's nice to have a consistent human enemy to fight outside of the occasional mind-controlled idiot, and the missions against them bring in a secret spy war theme that is a hook that I'll bite every time. Generally, the game feels like an improvement over its predecessor. The jump to 3D feels natural without breaking the start of the game. There's no cinematic over-the-shoulder action shots for when my shotgunner inevitably whiffs 3 attacks in a row.
I keep shooting, but the bullets just aren't reaching him.
And the new mission types come with objectives other than just kill all enemies, which really helps flesh out the tactical gameplay. There's a lot of improvements here that I feel like I'm gonna miss if I ever try and replay the first game again. For example, I love time units, so being able to see exactly how many I'll have left after any action is a welcome improvement, as is the ability to see if I'll have a good angle for a shot before committing to a move. Cover and obstructions play a much larger role now, with even minor obstructions like bushes adding a flat chance to miss on each shot. This feels a little extreme, especially on top of the existing chance to hit calculations, but as always, this is early access, so it'll probably get balanced later on. Personally, I'd like to see this changed to a damage reduction based on a weapon's penetration, with a chance to miss being reserved only for large obstructions and any cover adjacent to the target. I mean, 762 isn't getting stopped by some fucking wooden fencing. Speaking of our arsenal, it is, at least initially, largely the same as the previous titles. C4 is fat now though, and we have a new demo charge throwable that is specifically designed for destroying cover. Perhaps I've been spoilt by playing XCOM files recently, but part of me really enjoys stealing the weapons of my human enemies. Perhaps the Cleaners could introduce the Xenonauts to the world of SMGs, recoilless guns, and other alternative weapon options before we make the jump to reverse-engineered alien tech. The biggest new addition are modules, large, heavy objects that grant benefits to the troopers carrying them. The 2 types we have immediate access to are a targeting computer and some steel armor inserts, both coming with their expected bonuses. I really like this idea, and I can imagine that some of the modules we gain access to later will have quite the range of fun effects. As for characters, the staff on base play a much larger role now, with an improved story system taking over the old wall of text reports the previous game used. Our soul-patched head researcher returns, looking no older than his previous rendition did 30 years ago. Maybe this is like an Otacon Huey situation, except they're both Huey. Ugh. The engineer is also back, and has leveled up from this sweet boy himbo to Chad Chaddington here. They are joined by a new cast member, the operations director, who literally asks us not to kill the head researcher even though he's a huge asshole. I like her. Hell, even the commander gets some dialogue, although this feels like generic Fire Emblem Advance Wars "what is an airfield" player training lines. It does seem, however, that we've lost our old friends, the Colonel and the Quartermaster. It's not a huge loss since they basically had no dialogue in the first game, but I honestly feel they reflected the growth of the organization better than the others did. Okay, I'm gonna have to explain that, so hear me out. Minor spoilers for Xenonauts 1, but as you progressed through the tech tree, you'd occasionally modernize your base with all the cool alien technology you'd stolen. These modernizations introduced things like flat-screen TVs, and later even holographic displays. But for me, the biggest change was to the Colonel's arm, or rather, the lack thereof. As our technology grows, he gains a prosthetic. Initially just a simple pincher, but eventually a full-on cybernetic replacement. This, at least to me, represented the biggest victory of our efforts. Not only were we able to fend off the alien invasion, but our scientific gains were improving the lives of the regular humans we fought to protect. His expression might not have changed, but his stance says it all. Thank you, Commander. Or at least that's what I think. Maybe I'm just crazy and nobody really cares about Packaday Patrick and fucking Plock the exploding Colonel. Finally, as for bugs, the game feels remarkably bug-free, especially compared to the rather messy early access of the previous title.
He's in the walls.
He's in the goddamn wall!
However, more than once, I ran into a bug where a character would suddenly get locked in place. They'd refuse any more commands, even if they had the turn units for them, and then the game would refuse to end my turn. That's a pretty serious bug, so I imagine it'll be resolved by the time the game releases. However, this was the only bug I encountered in my playthrough, and that gives me some serious hope. So, Xenonauts 2 is shaping up to be everything I hoped it would be, and I'm excited to see where the game's plot goes. If my vaguely incoherent rambling has interested you in the game at all, check out my affiliate link in the description and grab yourself a copy today. You get a sick game, I get to keep the lights on, and my contact considers sparing my kneecaps. But for now, I must return to the mines.
Gawk! Fucking comedy gold!
So until next time, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I thank you for watching.